Ladies Don't Freak Out by Paleowriter. Rarity flung her shop door open.
No! No!
She tried as best as she could, but she just couldn't hold her hoofs back from running at a dead sprint towards Twilight's library. Her feet pounded along Ponyville's roads, and more than one head turned to stare. For once, Rarity couldn't bring herself to spare a moment's care.
Spiky Wakey! Moved back to Canterlot? Moved back without saying goodbye? No!
She wouldn't believe it. No matter what she'd overheard Rainbow Dash telling Mayor Mare this morning during their usual weather check-in in the town square.
So I saw Twilight's little dragon friend getting aboard the train this morning all by himself, with a big old suitcase. Any idea what that was all about? Yeah, Princess Celestia invited him back to Canterlot. Said it was time he learned more from her about his dragon heritage or something. He seemed pretty upset that he would have to graduate from being Twilight's assistant. But seriously, who'd want to be an assistant forever?
Rarity shook her head in an attempt to rid herself of the memory, and especially to rid herself of the cold shocks that had coursed through her upon overhearing that conversation. But it was impossible to forget. Rarity's mind raced faster than a roll of fabric unraveling down a hill, trying to make sense of it all.
Princess Celestia! She took him away! How could she do that? All his friends are here now. Twilight's here. I'm here. I'm here. How could he just leave?
Her breath hitched in her throat, causing her to stumble as she ran.
He can't leave. He can't just... He has to come back. What will we do without him? Twilight!
Rarity cried, opening the library door dramatically.
Twilight, what happened? Where is he? Where's Spike, and why didn't he say goodbye?
Twilight darted down the library stairs, nearly tripping over her own hoofs.
What? Rarity, what's going on? Spike!
Rarity exclaimed, shaking her friend by the shoulders. Tears flooded her eyes, making Twilight's wobbly form swim in front of her.
He has moved back to Canterlot and no pony told me!
Her friend managed to get out of her grip, stumbling backwards.
Rarity, what are you talking about?
Twilight said, magically pushing Rarity back from grabbing her again.
Spike's just visiting Canterlot. He's not moving there. Princess Celestia just wanted to meet him and discuss the next stages of his career. He's...
Rarity trailed off, her mouth falling open slightly. She stopped all attempts to grab Twilight again.
He's not moving to Canterlot?
She asked, her voice far weaker than she preferred it being.
He's not moving. Spiky Wakey, he didn't leave for good? No, he's not moving to Canterlot.
Twilight repeated herself, using her magic to shelve a few books that Rarity had knocked over when she'd run in. Rarity did notice that the library was much less tidy than usual without Spike around.
I don't know where you got that idea, but don't worry, he'll be back in a few days. Back in a few days?
Relief washed through Rarity, from her horn to her hoofs, but it was followed closely by a wave of crushing humiliation.
Oh!
Rarity straightened up, willing her face to not blush.
Well then, goodness, what a spectacle you've made of yourself.
She coughed a bit and smoothed out a lock of her mane that had fallen loose. Twilight raised an eyebrow.
You alright there? Perfectly.
Rarity replied, her composure returned.
Why ever do you ask, darling?
Twilight stared at her.
Well, you sort of freaked out for a few good minutes.
Rarity scoffed.
Twilight, you know completely well that ladies such as myself do not freak out,
she said, holding her head high.
I was just expressing my concerns that a dear friend may have left without saying goodbye is all.
Twilight continued to stare, and Rarity continued to look down her nose at her, daring her friend to suggest anything else.
So...
Twilight eventually said, after a long silence.
You wouldn't mind then if I told Spike how, concerned you were?
Rarity felt her face blanch a little.
Not at all. If I told Spike how you came running in here, practically sobbing at the idea that he'd moved to a different town than you.
Twilight took a step forward, past the pile of books. Rarity forced a laugh.
Twilight, you make it sound like it's odd for some pony to worry that a friend was moving away.
Twilight leaned in a bit, narrowing her eyes.
And that's it? What?
Rarity blinked, as innocently as she could. Twilight watched her for another moment. Then she shrugged.
All right then.
She turned to head back into the library.
Right then.
Rarity agreed.
I suppose I'd better head back to my shop. Did I even shut my shop door?
She winced inwardly.
You do that,
Twilight said. Rarity stood in the library door for a moment, her thoughts tumbling.
Twilight?
She finally asked.
Yes, Rarity?
Twilight turned. Rarity didn't like the knowing look she wore.
About Spike.
Rarity began.
Please, don't actually tell him about this. Please, don't tell,
Twilight's smile was verging on smirk status and Rarity's face flushed.
That is, perhaps he could be a dear and let me know when he returns.
Rarity covered for herself.
Don't worry,
Twilight said.
I'll let you know the moment he's back. I wouldn't want to keep you two apart now, would I?
She added.
Thank you, darling,
Rarity said, turning to leave and then stopping mid-step just outside the library door.
Wait, what do you mean? Keep us two apart?
She asked shrewdly, glancing back at her friend. It was Twilight's turn to blink innocently. They entered into their second staring contest.
Just what is she thinking?
Rarity was desperate to know.
And what does she think I'm thinking? And what is Spike going to think about all of this? Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Rarity swallowed, doing her best not to let her nerves make her visibly shake. Eventually, Twilight simply smiled once again.
Have a pleasant day, Rarity,
she said. Then she medically shut the library door, leaving Rarity outside with her own mess of confused thoughts.
We here at Pony&Wolf Productions thank these amazing patrons of ours for their monthly support, without which all of this would not be possible. We sincerely appreciate it, and every dollar helps, is needed, and will be used to keep us going to produce audiobooks for your continued enjoyment. It is, now more than ever, important that you support your favorite creators if possible, due to YouTube changing in a way that is not very friendly to content creators. Especially small content creators, like us. In recent months, the names you see on screen have enabled Midnight and Visual Pony to keep going and only having to sell off part of their belongings to not end up on the street. As an incentive for everyone, Visual Pony has broken a vow and has promised to read and record Fallout Equestria, Murky number 7, should the monthly support reach $1,500. To be clear, this is the absolute minimum amount needed to keep the apartment and all bills paid without starving, while a production of this size is ongoing. The estimated time for this production would be 3 to 4 years, but people already said that Project Horizons was impossible to do, right? And now look who did it, so with Pony&Wolf, you know we can finish the job. For further information on how to support us, please have a look at the description of this video, as there are also other ways, like our merch store. Sincerely and forever yours, your Pony&Wolf team.